It is jihad. Pakistan was created in the name of Islam. The natural corollary, some argue, is enforcing Allah's Sharia in the land. We have to run the gamut and become a theocratic state to be ruled by priests with a divine mission, contrary to Quaid-e-Azam's vision. Jinnah was opposed to the mixing of religion and politics, whereas for Gandhi, there are no politics devoid of religion. As Altaf Hussain, editor of Dawn, 19th July 1935, wrote, "Never can we enter the contaminated and poisoned atmosphere which reeks with the foul breath of such putrid nationalism." Hindu nationalism was unacceptable, flaunting as it did an image of evil Muslims defiling Bharat Mata. The struggle for Pakistan was an assertion by India's Muslims to counter Hindu chauvinism and rebut the slurs cast against them ideologically and politically. In a peculiar twist of fate, the proponents of the two-nation theory, the modern, progressive Muslims, squeezed between an inimical India and a determined band of bigots, became irrelevant in the national narrative. The holy madness that has us in its grip produces a narrative twisted and distorted by religiously motivated preachers. Those who oppose the creation of Pakistan don the mantle of its creation. The most powerful and extensive media in our nation are the clerics in mosques and seminaries. Their piety, knowledge, and consequent verdict on every issue under the sun are phenomenal, as is their influence. Democratic dispensations remain confused and inactive, unable to match election rhetoric with commensurate actions. In harness with responsibility, the harsh reality of facts confounds them. Religious sentiments cannot be flouted, and neither can they be fully acted upon. A mediocre, intellectually deficient political leadership is incapable of tackling the menace of terrorism. The Frankenstein of terrorism in the garb of the Taliban has a religious halo to it, sustained by zeal and mysterious funds. The pertinacious ISI cannot fathom the source of this multi-billion-dollar illegal conduit. Living in an animated state of apocryphal conspiracy theories has created a miasma verging on insanity. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. A policy of appeasing the clerics since the objective resolution of 1949 has left no room for maneuvering. A pervasive indoctrination has groomed a nation of fervent zealots with a holy mission, prepared for martyrdom. The symbiosis which exists between clerics and terrorists is obvious. Yet an armed conflict, without a corresponding action against the sacrosanct clerics, is an exercise in futility. TV talk shows and print media give varied opinions of intellectuals, journalists, and experts, convincingly refuted by clerics steeped in dogmas. The governor of Punjab, Salman Taseer, dared to differ and paid with his life. There was no serious effort to trace and restore his kidnapped son. Ghazi Mumtaz Qadri's felicitations, the showering of rose petals in the precincts of the High Court by the fraternity of lawyers, bears testimony to the love and respect he commanded among the educated segment of society, not to speak of the uneducated masses. Pervez Musharraf's government, faced with the Lal Masjid insurgency, was damned for its inaction. Yet the aftermath of the army action condemned him. Gory details of death and destruction implicated him, while the inmates of Lal Masjid stood vindicated. The political wing of the Taliban and its network of mosques and seminaries has a clout that cannot be trifled with. The talks with the Taliban, if successful, amount to taking orders from them. Failure is not an option. The bigots are powerful, bereft of responsibility, and cannot be held accountable. Therefore, they ought to rule us too. They might mellow down with responsibility and reign in their militant wing. Confrontation, however, is an option fraught with grave consequences. Ghazi Mumtaz Qadri and Lal Masjid Ghazis could desert from the army and join the Taliban. The Spartan conduct of the Taliban is publicized in contrast to the plush lifestyle of the army top brass. An anti-American hate campaign smears and tarnishes the Pakistan army as an ally of the infidel against their Muslim brothers, the Taliban. An Islamic dispensation will, so it is claimed, fulfill the aim and object of the creation of a separate nation. The minuscule minority that dares to differ is a passive element. They will have to toe the line or emigrate. Islam first is our motto. The Shias and Sunnis, it is said, will sort out their differences and evolve a common basic agenda. But given their record of intolerance and divergence of views, this is quite a difficult job. The minorities will be given protection under the law, subject to payment of jizya. Pious and practicing Muslims will govern us. Vigilantes, deployed to enforce the Islamic code, will ensure that the devil does not tempt us. Mullah Omar, it is argued, was getting it right in Afghanistan. That's what gave jitters to the Americans. The success of a Reba-free society frightened the Americans into enacting the 9/11 episode to dislodge him. As of today, the Sunni ulama empathize with the suicide bomber in the Shia Imambarga. And vice versa, the Shia theologian condones the bomb blast in a Sunni mosque. Publicly, views are expressed as low-key condemnations of the tragedy, along with swipes at the government, law-enforcing agencies, NATO, drone strikes, and so forth. Conspiracy theories flourish to camouflage our shortcomings. Dogmatic discourse has stifled our intellectual capacity, leaving us unable to fathom the realities of a globalized world. Quaid-e-Azam emphasized, political awareness of the era is also part of your education. You must be aware of international events and environment. Yet the international environment condemns and censures entities striving to impose dogmas. Obscurantist elements and forces of bigotry, enacting a constitution that denies equality to all citizens, are treated as a pariah. Promoting bias and prejudice in the name of Islam defames it. A nuclear Pakistan dominated by clerics who proclaim, "Believe as I do or God will damn you," and will presently say, "Believe as I do or I shall kill you," Voltaire, is a nightmare fraught with catastrophic possibilities. Our enemy will promote this eventuality. As early as 6 March 1948, H.S. Sururi had warned, "These lawless elements that may be turned today against non-Muslims will be turned later on, once these fratricidal tendencies have been aroused against the Muslim gentry itself. I want you to be warned in time. You think you will get away with it, but in that state, there will be no commerce, no business, and no trade." The ire of the Congress was reserved for the Muslim League, especially Mr. Jinnah, referred to as the poison, not the bigots whom they patronized. Pandit Nehru's scheme to undo Pakistan could not wish for allies more trustworthy. The mullahs advocating a theocracy have a history of leading us into disaster and defeat. That suits our secular neighbor. The plan to subvert Pakistan got underway with aggression and occupation of Jammu and Kashmir. It denied the rationale for the creation of Pakistan, bolstered with an argument justifying and vindicating it, thanks to our dogmatic, power-hungry clerics. Pandit Nehru explained to the UNCIP, "You seem not to understand our position and our rights. We are a secular state which is not based on religion. We give to everyone freedom of conscience. Pakistan is a medieval state with an impossible theocratic concept." Sir Zafar Khan admitted, "If Kashmir should accede to India, Pakistan might as well, from both the economic and strategic points of view, become a feudatory of India or cease to exist as an independent sovereign state. A 78% Muslim majority state, crucial to our sovereignty, nationalism, and economic viability, is hostage to a theocratic concept. It gives the aggressor a justification to belittle us, while we indulge in conspiracy theories to malign the Security Council members who stood by us." Pandit Nehru assured Sheikh Abdullah, "As for Pakistan, it is in an infinitely worse position, and I doubt very much if it can survive at all. Financially, it will be bankrupt. It has no trained personnel, and the burdens it carries are such that it can hardly survive." 10th October 1947. Nehru's prophecy was staved off by aligning with the USA. Sito and the Baghdad Pact were ratified by Suhrawardy as Prime Minister in 1957. Though he had opposed them out of office, in office he could see the necessity of these pacts. Our hostile neighbor hovers like a vulture to devour us, leaving us no option but to bolster our defense capacity. This is a burden that causes fissures within. Peace overtures are brushed aside brusquely. The Sino-India War in 1962 was the litmus test of Pakistan's intentions to live amicably. Wresting Jammu and Kashmir by force was ruled out. A negotiated agreement was the preference. India's obdurate attitude continues, certain in its conviction that its hostility strengthens the clout of the obscurantist, besides bleeding Pakistan to weaken it financially and economically. The great visionary, H.S. Sururi, stated, "The Pakistan state, if it is to be maintained, must be maintained by the goodwill of Pakistanis, of all people, Muslims or non-Muslims, whom you consider to be your nationals. It is not to be maintained merely on the goodwill of Muslims, or on their authority, or on their strength." According to Iqbal, so long as men do not demonstrate by their action that they believe that the whole world is the family of God, the beautiful ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity will never materialize. A separate nation was advocated because the rights of Muslims were in danger in a united, Hindu-majority India. The Quaid's conviction was that a Muslim-majority nation would be